The views presented in this program are not meant to express the specific views of the Lafayette Bible Fellowship. You are listening to the Vigilance Radio Network.
Good evening and welcome back. Welcome back to Culture Insanity Podcast, number 12. Number 12 now.
Number 12.
Yeah, welcome back for those of you that are with us online. Hello. And yeah, happy to be back. I guess it's a relatively, in comparison, we'll see how far we can take it, but I've only got a few different things on the docket for tonight. So just up front, in case you're wondering, we have on the agenda to talk about Bill Cosby and just the latest on that, and just a question of his legacy, I suppose. There were some comments made by Kanye West in the last week that were pretty inflammatory and controversial, and so we're going to talk about that. And then Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman recently rejected what is the equivalent of like the Jewish Nobel Peace Prize for reasons, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, got just a few different topics, and then we have a new activity which I'm excited about tonight. I'm hoping it's it's successful and that it, is as fun as it sounds in my head. So yeah, we're gonna have like a phone-in situation with a few different people. So that's what's on the docket for tonight. Yeah, again, this is episode number 12, so thanks for being with us. So I guess without delaying it, on the agenda first, I guess we can just jump right into Bill Cosby. So in case you've been living under a rock, Bill Cosby has been, I don't know, was it before the whole Weinstein thing even? Has it been going on for like...
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it feels like it's been going on for a long time. The whole Bill Cosby debacle and being accused of, the countless, like date rape, right? Essentially.
Right.
Yeah, so finally, I think it was just a couple days ago or something, but he was convicted on 3 counts of sexual assault. And that's so far. I mean... I don't know if do you know if it's still like ongoing?
No, he was convicted.
I know, but like of 3 of them, like is it still like there's other women and stuff?
I don't think so. I think the others, I can't speak authoritatively. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know either. But so at this point, Bill Cosby has been convicted of 3 counts of sexual assault. And so there's a question that we put out there earlier today, just thinking about this, and we've sort of, I can't remember who or what the topic was when we were sort of touched on this before, but I know we kind of did, but what are we supposed to make of the legacy that Bill Cosby is leaving behind? And is his work and his impact and his influence on culture and all that, like, is it still valuable? Alongside Bill Cosby, just recently, so along with him, he was
Adam
just spring.
Yeah, tapped the spring on the
He was kicked out of the Academy, right?
Right.
Of motion picture, whatever the acronym is for it.
Right, where they give the Oscars.
Yeah, the people that like actually vote on it, right? He's part of like a...
Yeah,
that's how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So along with him being kicked out of that in light of, his conviction, what's his face? Roman Polanski was also kicked out. And obviously Roman Polanski has his own bad history that's followed him. Like back in 1978 or something like that, he was found guilty of like statutory rape or something on like a young teen girl.
And then he ran.
And then he like fled to Europe and, has been active in Europe. And then he like later went on to make the movie The Pianist, and he like won an Oscar for that, and Hollywood applauded him, and that and all that. But anyway, so recently him and Bill Cosby were both kicked out of the Academy of Motion Pictures of Arts, and it's something I can't remember, but they're kicked out of that. And so there's a question that we're wondering, and if you're watching on Facebook or whatever right now, feel free to chime in your thoughts too. But is people like this that have skeletons have been drug out of the closet for all to see type thing, is their work and then their impact and in culture and in their legacy, is it still of value? Like, can we still look at their body of work or whatever and appreciate it for what it was and what it is, and can we like separate the human Bill Cosby from the many characters and stuff he played? And so that's the question. Man, I keep hitting this thing. That's the question that we have out there. I'm talking with my hands here. That's the question that we have out there. Man, it's bugging me that I can't remember. I know we sort of touched on it before.
Yeah, I would look it up, but I'm like, doing all the producer stuff.
Yeah, you're busy. So, is his work valuable? And it's interesting because an article that we pulled from to sort of, get this topic rolling was talking about how it's not... Bill Cosby's an interesting case because for a decade or more than a decade, he played, the father...
The TV dad.
The TV dad on...
The Cosby Show.
The Cosby Show. And
it wasn't more than a decade. It was 8 seasons.
So it was less than a decade?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it was the majority of the decade. It was the most powerful show on television for a long time.
Yeah, it was a big show in your life too, right? When you were a kid?
I love the Cosby Show.
Even still, yeah. But he played this character that was like, portrayed on TV as like a good father, strong, like, paternal instincts, and, he was seen as like the everyman and this and that, and always like, was guiding his kids in like a good moral direction, or was at least trying to and stuff. And so like, he had this image attached to him because for 8 years, which is a long time, he played this character. Fast forward, 30 years later or something, 40 years later, and Bill Cosby is like none of those things that, or he's seen as like a bad guy. He did these horrible things and so on and so forth. So is it possible to still value his impact in culture and in time with what we've come to find out about him now? What are your initial thoughts?
Yes. I think it has to be done with a grain of salt. But I think it is possible. I think that is. I think it's okay. So I want to be careful with how I say this.
Yeah.
There's nothing that excuses the type of behavior that he's been
convicted of,
right? So, there's nothing that excuses that type of behavior. Alongside that, I want to say that history is filled with people who've made significant and meaningful contributions to society that not only can't be undone, but shouldn't be undone, who were not of moral character.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about it coming from the opposite direction. Like, because someone did bad things in their past, like for whatever reason, Robert Downey Jr., because someone shared something on Facebook recently, and it was like a 3-minute like time lapse of Robert Downey Jr.'s life and where he is now. But so Robert Downey Jr., he was raised in like an abusive household. His dad like would beat him and emotionally abuse him also, and he grew up with like addiction problems to drugs and alcohol and multiple times in jail and blah 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 blah. But now Robert Downey Jr. is like Disney's golden pony, right? Like,
right.
And now Robert Downey Jr. like does all sorts of great philanthropic, right? That's the word. Mm-hmm. Philanthropic work, and like does these visits to like children's hospitals, and like does these like Make-A-Wish, all those kinds of things. And And so it's interesting, like, if you come at it from that angle, like, people are a lot more willing to accept that as, like, a good thing. And
Right.
that is a good thing. But, yeah, it's interesting that, like, when you flip it the other way or whatever, then people maybe are like, this guy sucks and I hate him. And, you know, they want to throw away
affects you
Sure.
purposefully, and then doing something that affects, other people. I don't think that you can strip that. I don't know that that's what the Academy is doing. They're just saying they don't want to be associated with him anymore.
Yeah, well, they said that they expelled him because they believe in the person that holds that position, should have a good moral character and, human, should protect and whatever human dignity and all these things. Like, they're...
Is that really what they said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I can pull it I think I have it right here. But yeah, some spokesperson said, the board continues to encourage ethical standards that require members to uphold the Academy's values of respect for human dignity. A statement from the Academy said.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they clearly are saying that he is not doing that.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I wonder what sort of... Okay, so again, let me be very clear. Who Bill Cosby happened to. That's not okay. Man,
that was a bad way of saying that.
Yeah, I don't know how to say. Okay, so
forgive us. We're just trying to fumble our way through it.
What Bill Cosby did was inappropriate, and that's not okay. I do wonder if there is sort of a push toward using that sort of to create a fear-based totalitarian filter for the arts. Like, at what point, where do they emphasis on they draw the line on what is moral?
It's always moving, right?
Right.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, and it's the thing that's interesting about Polanski is is that he receive an Academy Award for The Pianist?
He won, and he best director, and
Right.
he received a standing ovation.
Right.
From that crowd.
Right. And so, let's be clear, Polanski fled the country because he was convicted.
Yeah.
So they knew that this was the case with him. It's not a secret. It was well known, and he was actually convicted. And it takes them until now. What is it, 30 years later?
Yeah, it's weird. Convicted to the point where he flees, comes back and receives... Well, actually, I don't even know if he was there now that I think about it.
No, he didn't do the acceptance for it. Somebody else did.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
So awkward. Flees, then gets accepted back from his peers, right? To the point where the standing ovation type thing. And now it's, 2018, 2017, the last couple years, it's been brought to light again, and about how Hollywood, they're always changing their compass is always changing.
Right.
There's no true north with their compass.
Right.
Yeah. I feel a little bit personally out of touch with, the Bill Cosby.
Harrison Ford accepted the award.
That's random, isn't it?
I don't know if he knows him from something or he might have been the presenter. That's possible. I want to
go back and watch that at some point. But what was I just saying? Oh yeah, I feel a little bit out of touch with the whole Cosby thing because that was before my time, and so I don't know the
really
impact.
You view that as before your time?
Sure.
Weird.
When did it play, in the 80s?
I guess it just
from the early to the late 80s.
They're just something. Maybe it's not on that same line as Star Trek or something.
Which means by the time I would have started watching it, it would have been already 10 years off the air.
Right.
So I'd call it before my time. So I don't as far as how his that character was received in culture and stuff.
Right.
I don't know. Something more relevant to me would be like King of Queens and like how that dad is. Like he portrays like the stereotypical
Kevin
American
James.
dad, Kevin James. Yeah. Like I get that, but I don't have a frame like a really good context for his character on that show.
So you didn't really watch it?
Never.
Weird.
Only like in passing when I've seen you watching it, and even then I was like I couldn't care less. It's not a show that was part of my life ever.
Right.
So yeah, thinking about if his legacy and impact like should still be valued.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to like speak into that because it was never a part of my world and narrative.
Well, maybe that speaks to the idea that it won't be.
Well, yeah, and going back to the article we pulled from, like some young college student or something was interviewed by whoever. I don't know if it was like USA Today or CNN or something, but kind of like just hitting the streets asking what people thought about this thing.
Yeah.
And some college student literally said, "Isn't that the guy that's being accused of whatever?" Like they don't know Bill Cosby other than that.
That's crazy.
That's a little. I'm not that extreme. Like I know who Bill Cosby is, but and I know he's from that show, and he even had like a big movie career before that show, even.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but yeah, like maybe that's
crazy.
Legacy.
Yeah, I mean Cosby was.
Well, like I said too, like I feel like this has been like how long has this been going on?
It's a couple years.
A couple years. Like it drags on a long time, and that's like the longer it drags on, the longer like. Yeah, I don't know.
For another generation. Yeah. I mean, Cosby was super influential.
As a black actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he started alongside. He was like in one of the first biracial programs. It was in black and white. It was called I Spy. They made a terrible remake of it.
A movie or TV show?
TV show.
Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson.
I don't think it was Jackie Chan.
What?
Was it
maybe Eddie Murphy?
Yeah. Yes, Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson.
I remember that movie, but I didn't know that was a remake of the Bill Cosby movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then he did Fat Albert.
I knew
and that was like one of the first of its kind too, where it was like edutainment. And then he also did the Cosby Show, which was one of the first of its kind. I mean, it like showed African American families as essentially equal to white families, and they were like well off and like yeah. And then he also did like the kid funny shows.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Kids
like,
Say the Darnest Things.
Kids Say the Darnest Things. Like
that's kind of my frame of reference.
He like started that. He like endorsed Jell-O.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole bunch of things, but yeah, and he was like high into like children education and all these different things. I mean, he did a lot of good things, and it's really sad that he's only going to be remembered for the bad things. But that's the thing. That's his fault. Like that's his fault because like you can do so much good in the world, but if you don't have it under control, and
have that monster under control.
Yeah. Like I think he talked about, I believe one of his early defenses was that was just kind of what everybody did. Like it wasn't a big deal.
How
to
they
use,
like really?
Yeah, to roofie or whatever.
Yeah.
To loosen people up. But like it doesn't like the Bible says the deepest seeds will find the light of day. Mm-hmm. It's really it's really sad. I guess his legacy is already like diminishing.
Maybe just amongst like my generation and forward though. Like because I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, and some of those comedians that I listen to or are on different episodes, like they say like, so even while all this was going on, when it first started going on, he was like touring and doing like stand up. Yeah,
as an old guy, yeah.
And he like still sold out like places.
Right.
Even though all this stuff was going on. So
right.
It's weird how like at some point as far as generations go, like yeah, they're willing to like, yeah, it's Bill Cosby, man, he's so iconic. yeah, it sucks that he's got all this looming around him, but now, like, as far as the college student, it's like, isn't that guy that's this thing? And it's just a bad association.
Right, and that's
interesting.
Yeah, that's where it's at. So let that be a lesson to you. Do not try to hide things that you're doing, especially if you know that. I mean, obviously, if you're hiding them, there's something wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't be hiding them. Hiding things is never good unless it's an Easter egg hunt or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good thing where you hide things and it's okay. Oh man. So, yeah, I mean, if anyone else has thoughts on that, maybe I'd be interested in hearing from like an older generation, maybe older than Josh. What's another example of that though? Like of someone who had, like, I don't know. Like OJ has never bounced back from that, right?
Right. He
was like,
yeah.
He was super popular. He was super popular, but he's never really bounced back. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, we can move on. Do we have any viewers right now?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, well, next on our list then. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, Kanye West came out, I don't know, I think it was earlier this week. It could have been last week. I don't remember. But Kanye West was being interviewed by somebody from TMZ or something like that. Or maybe he was on a radio show, something. And he said some stuff regarding slavery, which was pretty controversial. And he's sort of been getting a lot of backlash about it from his peers and from just America in general. But what he said was, when you hear about, I have it right here, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, like you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all, it's like we're mentally in prison. And after that comment, the guy from TMZ, he said, I think that what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. So he was pretty offended by the notion, like what Kanye is initially suggesting. He said, and while you're making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. So obviously, yeah, Kanye West right at the beginning has said we're mentally in prison, and that's, suggesting that maybe that's why it went on for so long.
Right.
He later went on to Twitter later to clarify. He said, to make myself clear, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. His remarks didn't sit well with a bunch of other people, like Chris Brown got on and all this stuff. But, yeah, so pretty like, what's the word? I mean, controversial.
Sure. Polarizing.
Thoughts from Kanye West. So are black people responsible for their own slavery
woes?
I
don't think that's, I mean, obviously.
Is there, what is he saying?
I don't think that's what he was saying.
Is he just being misunderstood?
No, I don't think he's being misunderstood. I don't.
So what's he trying to get across?
I think that he's just, I don't think he's being misunderstood, but I do think.
Or is he a genius?
I don't think that he's being misunderstood, but I do think that the natural conclusion of what he's saying can be found within his statement. I mean, what people are taking from it can be found within his statement. My question that I have is, why is that so offensive? Like, I know that's controversial or whatever, but
I'm going to allow you to elaborate on that comment.
Well, I don't understand why it's so offensive to say that when you have a dystopian government that takes over and they are a minimal amount of people and you are a large amount of people, that you do have a choice in the matter, and that when you rally together to break that mold, it can be broken. I mean, we go to the movie theater over and over and over again to see that exact story play out. Mm-hmm. So why is it so offensive? So here's what I think. I don't think that by the numbers Kanye is wrong. I just think that he accessed something that people don't want to access.
That's an interesting
And,
thought.
I mean...
It's a lot easier to be the victim in history.
Yeah, even if you're not trying to be the victim, I think that it is easier to immediately react in disgust instead of listening to what's actually being said. I mean, the issue here is slavery of the mind. That's what he's saying, is that people are stuck inside their minds. We're not talking about abortion, for instance. Like in abortion, like these kids are killed and they literally have no way to assemble. They have no way to assemble. They have no way to communicate. They're in the womb, locked off from their fellow man, and they are completely powerless. But there is a dignity that slaves, that the African slave movement, there was dignity within that, and they did come together, like secretly. There was an underground movement to do so, and there was a really difficult push on their parts to get everybody together because there was such a strong amount of fear in regard to going against the system. I don't know enough about it. I've done, a decent amount of personal research. I've visited those monuments. I've been to Alabama and been to MLK's church and gone on tours and all of that stuff. But I wasn't there, and I'm not intimately connected to that struggle.
Yeah, you've never. Yeah.
But with that said, when you listen to the narrative, like when you go to the MLK monument, it constantly has this narrative that's playing out that MLK was trying to get the black people to come together. And the biggest problem in fighting slavery and what remained of slavery, because slavery had been abolished, but segregation and all that was still there. The biggest problem was the fact that they were fighting each other, and what they needed to do was to come together. Well, I don't really hear Kanye saying much of anything different. He's just saying it in a crude, rude, and flippant way.
Yeah.
And not to go back to Bill Cosby, but Bill Cosby says the same thing. He's been accused before of being racist against his own people because he would say that African Americans had a responsibility to be educated, and
that's exactly what Martin Luther King would say too.
Yeah, well, he got that from Martin Luther King. He was highly inspired by him. So, yeah, like when I listen to Kanye, I don't think he's wrong. I think he's just touching on something that's sensitive, and unlike everybody else, when Kanye doesn't see the color of his skin as being more defining than the agency of his mind, I believe him. I don't know if that makes sense, but
something in there that you said reminded me of like an experience. You said something just now, but whatever, I'll just start talking.
Sure.
So we went on a cruise, right?
Yeah.
In September, and we went to Jamaica. And Jamaica is, like, in crazy poverty.
Yeah,
like
totally.
If you're not on one of the resorts, it looks bad.
Right.
Like, there's trash everywhere. Like, it's not safe to walk on a street, like, alone type thing. Like, all these things. And the guy, our guide or whatever, he gave a really interesting insight into why Jamaica has struggled for so long to get out of its position. And it's because, like, the Jamaican people, they don't want to see other Jamaican people succeed. Like, they're always, if your fellow
trying to one up the other.
Your fellow Jamaican is succeeding, no way, you're not going on without me. Like, they pull each other down,
right.
And that attitude and mindset has allowed, like, foreign invaders, right, to basically capitalize on that. And now the only thing he said, and I witnessed this, and it seems true, like, now the only thing Jamaica owns is tourism, because only Jamaicans know Jamaica, and I thought that was really interesting. I can't remember what you just said that reminded me of that, but it had to do with an attitude of you not coming together or something like that,
right.
numbers and stuff like
right,
that.
That's what MLK was saying, was that they wouldn't come together. That was the hardest thing, was to get them to unify. And that was his issue with Malcolm
X.
Yeah, that was what they had a hard time relating to each other initially, because Malcolm, in preaching Black Islam, it was like, this is the way that we're going to do things, and you need to get on my bandwagon, and if you don't get on my bandwagon, then you're just a problem. Mm-hmm. And MLK was like, no, the whole thing needs to come together, you know? So, people need to grow a thicker skin and listen to what Kanye is saying. That's what I think it comes down to. And I think that there is a certain sensitivity to that particular narrative of the African Americans and what they went through coming over to America through slavery. Mm-hmm. And that is a terrible, terrible thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible that Kanye is really thinking well, no, because he clarified. He wasn't saying that it was by choice.
That they were shackled to boats and,
Right. He wasn't trying to say that it was by choice that they got there. And he wasn't even saying that it was, that they could choose themselves to be free. But what he's talking about is a freeing of the mind. Mm-hmm. Keeping that spirit alive inside rather than just succumbing to the quote-unquote man. And I appreciate that narrative, because I think that there is a real connection to the Christian narrative in that. In fact, it's not a big secret, but the successful underground, rebellions that took place within the early Black community in America were fueled by the Christian narrative of the Israelites in slavery. And, a lot of their songs were gospel songs that were a secret code for, for their own plight. So I 100% agree with the concept that if you are enslaved in the body, you do not have to be enslaved in the mind. And that's what the scripture says. It says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mm-hmm. That's in the same passage in Romans 12, where it talks about making sure to treat others like your enemy, love each other, come together, love each other. Don't do bad things to your enemies. I think that passage might even be talking about slavery in there.
So what's the most productive way to combat, because I know you've had personal experience with it, but as soon as you as not a Black person, right? As soon as you try to touch that, or even talk about it, no, you don't understand, you're a racist, subconsciously, even if you don't recognize it. So, what's a productive way to, get into that and,
I think you have to not assume. I think you have to not assume the narrative. I think that's the first thing.
So what do you mean by that?
I've met some African Americans who want to tout that narrative. Yeah. But that's not every African American that I've met. Some African Americans are that's something that happened in history and that sucks. And, that's not where I am today. Yeah. That's something that our ancestors, those are the wars of our fathers.
I'm trying to think, and obviously our own country's history plays into it, but I'm trying to think if there's that, is there that that narrative? It's not as strong in a lot of other parts, like in Europe, for example, right? Yeah. And is that just because our own country has its own bad history with that and whatever? But they don't assume that narrative as readily as some people over here, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, in Europe, it was nation conquering nation, mm-hmm. Over and over and over and over again. We came here and we started the conquering. So I think we get a little hurt easier when in our little section of the world that we took from the Native Americans, all of a sudden, when we start, like bringing people over here to subjugate them more, it's, I don't know, it was kind of a worse machine. It's a foul machine. And then on top of that, when there's pushback on it, it's like, it's even, we're just kind of in our own little bubble of grossness over here in terms of some of the evil that we've perpetrated.
Totes.
And when you look at America, I mean, I love America. God bless America. That's nowhere in the Bible, so I'm not saying that from a theology standpoint. But I wish that God would bless America. But with that said, we are just really bad. Like, from a moral standpoint, we are at the forefront of things. Somebody just posted something. Who posted that? John Parker says, it's hard to put... Hold on, I gotta maximize this window. He says, it is hard to put Christian values on a man that calls himself Jesus.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Well, for the record, John Parker, many people who are not Christians accost Christian narratives, and they like to borrow from them. So, yeah, I'm not saying that he has a Christian narrative at all.
But Jesus walks with him.
Right. Right. Yeah, if you want to talk about some jacked up theology, we can talk about Jesus walks and how it's like prosperity theology and like all this other stuff that doesn't make
So anyways,
sense.
so I was asking what's a productive way to get into that and like try to help people to
Right. I think you don't
change. So you said don't assume the narrative.
Don't assume the narrative. That's the first thing. And then be honest and loving and gentle and tender-hearted and kind, and understand that just like you shouldn't assume the narrative, that, you should be open to hearing what their narrative is. I think that a lot of people assume narratives of even what they're giving without even necessarily believing it to be true. Like they don't necessarily, like that's not necessarily their narrative. Even though they might be toting it.
Yeah.
Because it's just the popular thing to do.
That's what I was told to,
Right. This is what we do. This is the culture we live in. And I think we should be pushed to think beyond that.
Yeah.
And that is what Kanye is trying to do.
Yeah, I don't want to be offensive. I'm not trying to be. But it reminds me of Colin's, like, racism thing. Like, when you push racism so much, like, you're forcing me into that position, or
right. You're helping to perpetuate the idea of racism.
Yeah, and like when you're forcing this narrative in culture, in your culture as African Americans, like even if people aren't interested in owning it, like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy or something.
Right.
It's interesting, or could be.
Right. Well, I remember. I mean,
I don't want to make blanket statements here.
I don't think that I understood. So I'm dark-skinned, and I
recently found out exactly what you are.
I did. I recently found out that I am apparently everything but Jewish and black.
And Native American.
Which it seems like every single person in America thinks that they're Native American because,
how
we had to appropriate
arrogant.
our DNA too.
How arrogant, huh? we took their land.
Not enough to take their land, we have to take their DNA
we're taking
as well.
Their blood, yeah.
Right. I claim Native American heritage. How?
That's the ultimate appropriation.
Right. Well, the joke's on us because apparently there's no Native American blood in my system.
Not
even though
a drop.
I've been told that I'm part of the Cherokee tribe my entire life.
Your dad likes to say that often.
So, in any case, what was I saying about that? We were talking about
blood, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. And then it got off on... I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. But now you guys, that I, have a different blood type than Native American. So, yeah, that's good.
Wow, we really stunted ourselves there. Whatever. Yeah, no, it's interesting. And yeah, I think he's being sloppy. And how he's...
No doubt.
How he's going about it, and like the platform that he's maybe using, I don't know. But there's also something weird, like he's all about Trump now. What's that about? I haven't really
Well, I think
been tracking that.
like recognizes like, and that's the thing. Like,
Just bold and bold.
yeah, before Kanye West is black. I mean, maybe he started out as black, and that was the narrative he was using. But before Kanye West is black, he's Kanye West.
Keeps it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he's it's about Kanye, and I think that he understands that Trump is Trump, and he appreciates that because there's no.
Yeah, I think something I heard like so. Did Kanye like support Barack Obama?
I think so.
Think so.
Yeah.
And they're both like from Chicago, right? And
Yeah.
I think that Kanye got soured. I think I heard that or read that he got soured on Barack Obama because nothing ever happened in his city.
Right.
Like Chicago
right.
never improved. But you see Donald Trump, and he comes out, making crazy statements about what's going to happen, and he's come good in a lot of different ways.
He's actually
so,
following through on
he's,
whatever he can.
Maybe he just appreciates that about Trump. Like, yeah, he's not tactical. Like, yeah, he's not this.
Right.
But he is bold, and he will get results.
Well, I'm waiting for Kanye to say that Donald Trump is the white Kanye.
Is that a... Yeah. Or to say on live television, Donald Trump likes black people. Cares about black people.
Right.
That's what he said,
Right.
Bush. George Bush doesn't care about black people. Anyways, on that note, all right, it's past 8:30, so our people are waiting in the wind here.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna call. If you guys are listening, I got a couple thumbs up. I'm gonna call them. We're gonna do a game.
We're doing a game.
I'm gonna call them, and then you can. Okay.
Okay.
Let me get them all. Start call.
Make sure to hold that up to the mic.
Speaker. How do you speaker? Hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to speaker. Talk. Heidi, talk.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Okay, we got one person.
Got Kelsey, Heidi,
Hello.
Colin, Gio. We're missing LU. Thank you guys for being here. And sorry we're 12 minutes late. LU is here. Okay. Everyone say here so I know you can hear.
Here.
Beautiful. Can you hear it fine, Josh?
I can hear it just fine.
All right. So, we're playing a new game, okay? And we're hoping it's going to be fun for you guys. So, I'll just quickly... You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I'll quickly describe what this game is to you. And it's not that complicated. LU, I'll talk slow. Okay, so the game is like it's kind of like a word association game of sorts, and it's like very meta. Okay, so how it works is, so we're just kind of going with the theme of superheroes, okay? Because today's like Free Comic Book Day and whatnot. You can get it. Don't moan, cry just yet. Okay.
I'm with you, Heidi.
Okay.
Hey, that
Okay.
was Kelsey.
Okay, so here's how it works. Your guys' goal, listen. Your guys' goal is to try and guess the superhero, okay? So what I'm going to do is start rattling off different things, and there's a common denominator in those things which will lead you to the superhero, okay? Are you so far with me?
Okay.
Okay, so Josh is going to give an example.
Okay,
How
so
do we ring in?
so if I wanted you to guess Batman, for instance, I might say Michael Keaton.
You wouldn't say the name.
Wait, what?
You wouldn't say the name. You would say...
Oh, the movie. I might say Mr. Mom or Beetlejuice, so that you would understand who I'm talking about.
Yeah. So he's going to say other movie or television things that Michael Keaton was involved in that's
Like
going to lead you to
Birdman.
Michael Keaton, which would lead you to Batman, okay? Because Michael Keaton played
So
Batman.
everything's a 2 off? Everything's 2 off, not
Sure.
direct association?
Sure, a 2 off. That's a good way of
For
putting
you,
it.
Colin, we're gonna make it a 5 off.
So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna say Rosario
Like to
Dawson.
see how you're going to do that,
So
especially
if
for me.
yeah, so if Josh wanted you to get Batman, he would start saying different Michael Keaton's Batman, he would start saying, like he said, Birdman or Mr. Mom or
Beetlejuice.
anything that, and so you would get that. Okay, so Michael Keaton's and all those. Oh, Michael Keaton played Batman. It's Batman, and you would say Batman. Okay.
And you would be wrong. It's the Vulture.
No, he's wrong. So does everyone understand?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
it's just going to be the first person that says it. If there's a tie,
Okay.
we'll have some sort of quick tiebreaker, okay?
Yes.
So, the winner actually gets something, okay?
Oh.
The winner, Josh bowed out of this one, but the winner will get a free movie that I will take you to, drinks and popcorn included.
Alright.
And I ain't talking no Oak Grove 8 for anyone else that's listening. That's our like home theater,
We
which
love
we
Oak
have
Grove 8.
close connection to, which we can see free movies and stuff all the time. No, I'm talking like a proper quote unquote theater where I actually got to bust out the wallet.
Like the Baghdad.
So the winner of this game gets a date with yours truly, because Josh bowed out because he's a busy guy.
It's true.
Okay, so does everyone think they understand and is ready?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See.
So it's kind of like that game you have, LU, where you start going off on clues and you do it. Ooh, here's a good on the fly thing we'll add to it. If you say something and it's wrong, you're out. You don't get to guess for that round.
Oh.
Okay? So, here we go. Everyone listening? Gio, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
I'm nervous.
Me too. I think I'm not gonna get any.
Okay.
There's a
I'm
lot
like,
of
I don't know actors or superheroes.
Here we go.
Or
I like
television
movies.
shows.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Popcorn.
Jiggly. Gone Girl. The Town.
Jennifer Lopez.
Shawshank
Batman.
Redemption.
With fucking, what's his name?
Gio wins. Ixnay on the F-skay. Gio wins. It was Batman.
What was the answer?
It was Batman.
Oh my goodness gracious.
The common denominator was Ben Affleck.
Alright.
Gone Girl.
Try to keep it clean,
Ben
Gio.
Affleck.
Gio, try to keep it clean. We run a family show here.
This is a wholesome show, Gio. Come on.
I'm keeping it clean. I didn't even say nothing but Batman.
You said effing.
I heard the F-bomb in there.
Sorry.
So the common denominator was Ben Affleck in Gone Girl, The Town, and Shawshank Redemption. Okay? Good job, Gio. All right. Round 2. Snowpiercer. Push. Not Another Teen Movie. The Perfect Score.
The Joker.
You're out. Once more. Snowpiercer. Push. Not Another Teen Movie. The Perfect Score.
I'll throw Fantastic Four in there.
Where's the common denominator in those movies, boys and girls?
I've never seen any of those movies. Is it the fire guy?
Ooh, someone's on the right track.
On the right
I
track.
don't know
Johnny
his name.
Blaze.
Fireman.
Nope.
Why don't I?
Somebody said Johnny Blaze. That
If
person's
everybody
out.
guessed, do I get another go?
Nope. All right, we're gonna kill this one. This one's gonna go to the host.
I got it.
What is it?
It's Captain America.
You're right.
Aw, shit. Oh, sorry.
You guys, I don't have a bleep button here.
Look, this is a live show. We can't go in post production and edit this.
I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, I get one free cuss word now.
I was just...
You got a free answer. You already guessed you were supposed to be out. We bent the rules for you. You're welcome. All right, so that means Gio with one.
John Parker says hashtag censorship.
Hashtag censorship. John Parker.
I have a question.
Oh, here we go
Is
with the
the guy
questions.
who plays Captain America and the guy who plays the fire person on Fantastic Four the same person?
Sure is. Chris Evans.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Human
Okay.
Torch is his name.
All right.
All right, so LU with one, Gio with one. Gio, I didn't hear you say anything.
Nope.
All right,
This game's hard.
appreciate
I
that.
was thinking.
All right, here we go. Australia, Les Miserables,
Thor.
The Greatest Showman, Real Steel.
Whoever said Thor's out.
Wolverine.
You're right, LU with the Hugh Jackman common denominator.
Yes.
LU with 2. Who said Thor? Was that Heidi?
Let him live.
No, that was Kelsey.
Oh.
Let him live.
I'm
All right.
over here silent because
I like that movie.
I'm not gonna get.
All right, here we go. Next up, round 4. I Love You Man. Wanderlust.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Oh,
I
Heidi
said it first. That
Parker.
was me.
Yeah, you got it first, Kelsey.
Oh, was it Kelsey?
That
Or
was
was-
me.
Like half a second there.
Good job,
Well, I like
Kelsey.
Paul Rudd.
Good job.
All right, Heidi with 1.
No, it's Kelsey.
That was Kelsey.
Oh, sorry. Okay, jeez. Kelsey with 1. LU
I'm
with
like, I'm gonna
2.
need that 1 point, okay?
Geo with 1. Round 5. Frontier. The Bad Batch. Game of Thrones. Baywatch.
What?
Frontier. The Bad Batch. Game of Thrones. Baywatch. What's the common denominator and where's the superhero?
I haven't seen the new Baywatch.
It's not from the new Baywatch.
Oh.
Oh.
I have no idea.
One more.
I don't think I've seen
Frontier.
any of those things.
Game of Thrones. Khal Drogo. Baywatch.
Aquaman.
What? Who?
Aquaman.
You're right.
Aquaman.
Who's that?
yeah.
Kelsey?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, is that the last one? That means we have to do.
No,
Khal Drogo.
there's. Okay, Kelsey with 2. LU with 2.
Baywatch?
Yeah.
No,
Geo
I
with
only
1.
knew Khal Drogo.
Okay, there's 2 more rounds. Okay? 2 more rounds.
It's anyone's game.
It's anyone's game. Here we go.
Yeah, definitely.
Swordfish. Die Another Day. X-Men. Gothica. Swordfish. Die Another Day.
I'm gonna go with
X-Men.
Cyclops.
Wrong.
Colin's out.
And
Yeah.
Gothica.
Please, go all in or go home.
Swordfish.
Oh man.
Die Another Day. X-Men. That should be your hint that it
Is it
wasn't.
Halle Berry Storm?
Well, see, that would disqualify you because you guessed wrong.
You were so close.
You were right that it is Halle Berry Storm.
Catwoman.
Boom!
Yes.
I'm guessing John Parker helped his wife on that one.
No, I'm in the bed. I'm in a totally different room.
John Parker said Storm Halle Berry.
All right. Heidi on the board. Colin, I'm sorry to say, you cannot win this game.
Okay, I can still steal it from someone else. I can still.
That's
prevent
true.
them.
That's true.
That's true.
That's right.
Okay, for the 6th and final round. 7th and final round. Here we go. Gio, it's time to put
This
up.
could be like a 4-way tiebreaker, the next one, right?
Here we go. Cider House Rules. Brothers.
Oh, what's her name?
Pleasantville. Seabiscuit.
What was the last one?
Seabiscuit.
Oh.
Cider House.
Is it Scarlett Johansson and something?
You're out.
Play. Shoot.
Cider House Rules. Brothers. Pleasantville.
Spider-Man.
Stay off your phones.
Oh, did I hear it?
LU said Spider-Man. Josh? That was correct. That means
Plus the
that...
half point I got from Halle Berry. That's 3.5.
All right, time for full disclosure and honesty from our contestants. How many of you were on your cell phones?
Not me. I was
Oh, come on.
just.
Well,
I'm using my cell phone to talk. I can't use it.
I only answered one thing, so I don't think I was on my cell phone.
All right, fair enough. All right, that means LU won. That means LU,
Yes.
you get a mandate.
Sweet.
No,
I
you
don't like
eat a lot of
popcorn.
snacks and bring them back
he
to
had-
us.
Did he get 3 points?
He did. He guessed Spider-Man at the
My
end for his third
goodness.
point.
All right. Well, I fought
Spider-Man.
hard.
Well, what'd you guys think of the game? Quickly.
Kelsey,
It was really hard.
Kelsey,
pretty
you
good.
will come to join us and I'll pay for you.
Oh, there
my
you
gosh.
go.
All right, guys.
I like that sportsmanship.
Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.
Nice.
Bye.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I'd call it successful.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Full-grown men, and we teach children lessons.
that is right. Nothing more true.
Right.
Okay, well, final topic before we wrap up tonight.
Right.
So, Natalie Portman, I mentioned at the beginning, but Natalie Portman recently rejected what is known as the Jewish, quote unquote, Jewish Nobel Peace Prize for her work in life, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why she was being given it.
Sure.
But she was being given it by her...
Well, why was Barack Obama given one? I mean...
First black president, man.
I guess,
just for being black.
Yep.
And the president.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so she was offered or given this award or this honor from her country. Fun fact, she is a Jew, born in Jerusalem, fluent in Hebrew. So Natalie is a crazy chick.
You know, I recently found out that I am not Jewish.
Yeah, and it was a sad day for you.
Yes.
But anyway, so she was offered this honor, or was given this honor, but she rejected it because of just things going on with her country, her nation.
Right.
In regards to Palestine and the conflict there, and in regards to the Israeli stance on basically accepting refugees, and she's like diametrically opposed to some of the different things that their leader Netanyahu stands for.
Right.
So she was like, out of respect for my own, like, values and convictions, like, I can't accept this because it would be a betrayal of what I think we need to be doing as a country, and I don't want to be, a recipient of that thing when I don't think we're heading in the right direction. Long story short, right?
Right.
So there's a question for us here, and if you're tuning in, feel free to weigh in. But excuse me, does support for your nation, or is support for your nation synonymous with supporting maybe its politics or its values or things that it's involved in? Yeah. So what do you think? This is another one of those ones where I'm having major deja vu that we might have touched on something like this before, but I can't remember when and why.
I've been thinking about that. Like, how does that work in space and time? Like, I'm thinking when Germany had elected Hitler into his position, and he was elected, so let's just be clear, he didn't take over Germany. He was elected into his position. Like, and he wanted to give an award.
Maybe that's the angle we were coming at before.
Really? I don't know. But when that happens, if I were a German and I was given an award, would I not accept it, even though I had worked for the country and loved the country and so on and so forth? I'm not really sure what the moral obligation is there.
What would be your conviction on your heart?
Right, because if I love my country, like now, I love my country and I want to see it succeed. But I don't agree with a lot of things about the administration of the country.
You're not going to stop paying your taxes because of who's in power and how they're saying they're going to spend your money, right?
Right.
Like, you're still going to do those things and contribute.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's your responsibility as a citizen. Receiving an award, I don't know if that counts. So, yeah, I'm just not sure what to think about it. Part of me is really sad because, as your typical white, or at least half-white Christian, I have a profound love for the Jewish people, and I believe that they're God's chosen people. So to hear one say that she doesn't want to associate
with God's chosen people
herself with that makes me really sad. I would have to say that if I were her, I would probably feel like it would be my responsibility to reclaim, to say I accept this award on behalf of all the Jews who are not these things that I feel the administration is doing.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting play. Opportunity. Yeah, is support for your country synonymous with supporting its policies? No,
right.
Why do you have to why is it all or nothing?
Right.
What is all or nothing in life?
Okay, somebody's reminding us, Heidi is saying that we talked about this issue with Lord. But it wasn't the same thing, because Lord's not Jewish. She's British, and
What was it with her?
She refused to play in Israel.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
that what it
yeah,
was?
Yeah.
Yeah, she refused to play in Israel. Like, that I understand, although I still don't understand it. But I understand it better than this. This is like, I don't know, like, I wonder if she's in, like, a huge state of cognitive dissonance right now. Like, I wonder if that was a hard decision for her, or if it was, like, a passive decision for her, because, like, you know, she's important to the Jewish culture. She, like, I assume that this is somewhat of a knighting, the way that it is for the British, you know, how they, like, knight people.
The OBE.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, how that plays out for somebody like Gal Gadot. You know, who's
also a Jew.
Yeah, and she's BA, and she's Wonder Woman, and, like, how does that work? So, I don't know. Like, it makes me sad. That, I guess that's what I would say. It makes me sad. I don't think that I would make the same decision. I think it would be one of those things where I would claim that the people who are giving it, like, don't have, like, aren't standing on the right foot. But I, as, like, a true Jew, I know that would come across as, like, super narcissistic, but, like, aren't you coming across as judgmental and narcissistic already when you're not willing to accept it?
Yeah, who are you to deny the greatest honor our country has to give?
Right. Heidi is saying different circumstances, but the idea that it is supporting a country is supporting a country the same as supporting their politics, is what we're talking about. So yeah, it's really similar. Yeah, I mean, is it the same thing as when people take a knee during the national anthem? I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, I think so. I think it's the same.
Like, if you fought in the war and then the president wanted to give you a medal and you're like, nope, I'm not going to accept a medal from the president. Like, I don't know.
I don't know if that's even the same. Like,
it's definitely a lesser thing. I guess the thing that just saddens me is the willingness to disassociate from a want for the success of your people. And I don't think that that's what Natalie Portman, like, wants to throw out there, but I don't know. Seems like just a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and watch the video more, or the video I saw.
There's a video talking about it too. I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either. I don't think it has to be all or nothing though. Just with things like that, like, it's too it's so like there's so many different things, like, I don't know. Well, I guess feel free to weigh in on your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, that was a real bummer.
We should have stopped at the game. Natalie Portman killed us. Well, hopefully there's more uplifting topics next time. We can't force the news. We just pick up what's there.
Right. I mean, hopefully we'll talk about Infinity War.
Yeah, Josh still needs to see Infinity War.
Right.
I loved it.
We're
not going to talk about it. We chose not to talk about it because Josh hasn't got the chance to see it yet. It made like $1 billion. It's like the highest grossing movie opening weekend ever now.
Right,
which, was predicted. But
I'm hoping there's no spoilers on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There's no way they would put...
There was Infinity War, like, throw out there last week. It was one of they're like kind of... They've secured themselves inside this building called the Lighthouse, and they're, like, unable to leave it. But Quake escapes, and she's, like, able to go out there. And they've got their own problems with an alien invasion also. And then this other guy who's kind of like, he's helping out. He's, like, out in the real world, and he comes back, and he's like, have you seen everything that's going on in New York and everything that's going on in the world? And Quake is like, I have my own problems to deal with, okay? And that's it. But it's like...
Do you think you'll see it... Excuse me. Do you think you'll see it sometime in the next 2 weeks?
I sincerely intend to make an effort.
That means a lot. I sincerely intend to make an effort.
Yeah. Well, I've already made an effort. So
2 weeks is a long time to hide away from spoilers. Man.
I know. I'm going to keep making an effort.
Yeah. No, it's good. It was good.
Even my wife wanted to see it. I was really surprised.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That makes it easier then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should see it so we can talk about it because it's a big one and it's great.
Hopefully next week we can also, or in the next 2 weeks, we can also talk about Cobra Kai, which we're going to watch
We're going to watch Cobra Kai right after this.
Right. We're intending on watching Cobra Kai, and that's pretty interesting because it flips the script on Daniel and...
Daniel's son.
Johnny. I think his name's Johnny.
Yeah. Also, Westworld just came out. And,
Westworld, Handmaid's Tale.
There's surely some sort of god complexes in Westworld that we can talk about.
Yep.
So, yeah, TV's coming back. Big shows are coming back. So, whatever. We have some stuff to talk about, hopefully. So, I guess we will see you in 2 weeks for episode 13. So, let's see. What's coming up for us? We have the next Cross-X on, I think it's Predestination?
Yes, Cross-X on Predestination on May 25th, I want to say. Let me look real quick.
That'd be the 27th.
Yeah, you're right. It's the 27th, May 27th, Predestination. It's going to be at Prince of Peace, which is a church in Battleground, Washington. So that's like 45 minutes away for us. But for you, if you don't want to join us, it's still 7 p.m. live on Facebook.
Yes, and that's the last Sunday. The last Sunday, right?
Last Sunday. It's always the last Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that should be fun. Our last one, by the way, was our most successful Cross-X. We talked about Heaven and Hell, and we had a lot of participation on all fronts, and we had really good interaction between the three pastors, and they all had a lot of good things to say. So if you're interested in exploring those topics also, you can always go back to the Cross-Examination Facebook page.
Right.
And check it out because the video's up there.
Right, and it gets posted here too at Culture Insanity whenever we go up live.
So with that said, I suppose we will see you guys on episode 13 in 2 weeks. 8 p.m. See you then.
The views presented in this program are not meant to express the specific views of the Lafayette Bible Fellowship. You are listening to the Vigilance Radio Network.